Choose your place in Iran tonight and you'll find rage. In the modern capital, Tehran, of course, but now as well in city after city after city. Iranians angry there are no jobs, blaming a corrupt government, challenging leadership they find infuriating. Iranian security forces have hit back hard, but demonstrators, undeterred, continue to target not just political symbols, but even those of Iran's supreme leader. Ayatollah the murderer, they shout. It's a remarkable time in Iran, prompting the Ayatollah himself today to respond, blaming the violence on enemies of Iran. And though he didn't mention the U.S., Donald Trump weighed in anyway, backing Iranians who, by the way, at the same time, fall under Trump's ban on travel to America, tweeting, "The people of Iran are finally acting against the brutal and corrupt Iranian regime. The U.S. is watching." Though despite Trump's words, it's not as if Iranians haven't protested before. Massive demonstrations followed the disputed elections in 2009. Back then, the Obama administration was criticized for failing to do more for the protesters. Today, Trump's ambassador to the United Nations said she'll soon call for a UN emergency session on Iran.
The people of Iran are crying out for freedom. All freedom-loving people must stand with their cause. The international community made the mistake of failing to do that in 2009. We must not make that mistake again.
The White House today stopped short of calling for regime change, but laid out its view on what Donald Trump wants from Iran.
I think the ultimate endgame would be that the citizens and the people of Iran are actually given basic human rights, and he'd certainly like to see them stop being a state sponsor of terror.
Offering support, but leaving things in the hands and fury of those on the streets of Iran for now. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
The Trump administration also called on Iran to unblock social media accounts the protesters are using to organize. But like hugging the wrong diplomat, mentioning Instagram may just make the situation worse, painting a bigger target on the app. Social media is a big part of life in Iran. So the question is, can the government really stop the sharing of information? The Iranian government would prefer imagery like this not get out. That's why Instagram and Telegram were banned. But the world sees what it does because tech-savvy Iranians find workarounds. They're strategic because the government is. Look at a map of Iranian web traffic over the last few weeks. Nothing stands out since the protests. No wholesale shutdown or blockage. Internet freedoms researcher Masa Ali Mardani says assaults are precise.
It seems like they're focusing on the mobile operators because that's how people, they're out on the streets and they're connected from the streets as opposed to being at home and being connected.
So by going after mobile operators, then does that sort of stop people from trying to organize on the streets or report what's happening on the streets?
Yeah, I think it might be a little bit of both.
Ali Mardani, fiercely protective of net freedom, says all Iranians, even the elderly, are steady users of basic internet security for their own safety, using virtual private networks that fake an IP address to make it look as if you're in another part of the world, and Tor, which bounces addresses around to confuse. These tools help, but increasingly, the government is going after them too. Iranians are sending out real-time reports of what is getting shut down, and developers globally are responding. How are they responding?
They see, this version of my software is now being targeted by Iran, so I need to develop a new version for Iranians to use.
And is this happening quickly? I mean, are people seeing a report, on a Tuesday morning and working through the afternoon and the evening to get an update?
Yeah, I think their developers are working on providing these tools.
Subversion is always dangerous, but for those worried Iran will go dark, Ali Mardani says have a little faith in Iranian ingenuity.
I think the information will flow. I'm not worried about that. I mean, things might get more restricted. I'm confident Iranians are going to find ways around it.
Their will is to find a way.